March is in the bags, so here are all the games that I finished in March.
Linda the gamer gal, she's here, she's playing games. Linda the gamer gal, she's here, she's playing games today.
So starting off, we are at Final Fantasy XVI. I had this on my backlog, so it's checked off. This is an RPG that is an action RPG. This is completely different, in my opinion, than most of the Final Fantasy games. There is a little bit of like Final Fantasy 15 mixed in with like kind of like the first couple games. They're trying to blend them all together. It kind of worked in a little bit, but for the most part, it's a button mashing thing that kind of irritated me. You are a gentleman named Clive, and you see that a couple nations have taken over his land. He lost it, and he thinks that all of his family are dead, but he starts seeing like visions of a man who kind of looks and resembles his brother. He doesn't know what to do with it, so you kind of see him losing his mind in a way. He thinks that he's like not sure what to do, but he is also under control of another nation, another king, so he has to like deal with, he is technically part of the army for another person, and he's also trying to figure out how to stop that from happening, get his kingdom back, because a lot of the people that he knew from his old kingdom are part of that person's army now, or part of their like they're just working for him. And so he has to figure out how to get everything back, and he meets along the way people from his past and also people from that are new, and he's trying to use that all the little group that he has to battle a big monster of a person. You also see at the very end there is a creature. It's similar to a lot of other RPGs. There's like an aura, a blight, an ultima. You have to battle that at the very end, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed all the battles except for the button mashing part of each battle. I don't know. I couldn't get into the monster part of the battles. Some of them are really epic, and then some of them are just like guide, QT, guide, do this, do that, and I'm like, I'm really not digging it. So I'm 50-50. I like the game when it comes to just Clive's part, but when he turns into a monster, I really didn't dig it. So if you're into action RPGs, this might not be up your alley for like if you're not into like monster battles. But I digged it. I would say it's a solid game. Like I would give it like a 7. It wasn't like something that's gonna blow me out of my waters and make me want to play it again, but I did enjoy it, and I did find it on sale, so pick it up if you find it on sale for sure. Next, I did a back-to-back RPG again, like I did last month, and that is Dragon Age: The Veilguard. This game had some weird plot things. I don't know what to make of it. Like, there's moments where I really enjoyed the game, liked the mission that I was doing, liked what I was handling at the time between like the companions and the characters that I was facing off. And then there's moments where I'm like, what is this that I'm doing? Like, it's a side quest. In a nutshell, you have companions like any other RPG, but a lot of them you can't really bond with if you don't do the side quests. And at the very end, just FYI, it says on multiple things that you don't have to like do all the side quests, but I personally can attest that if you don't get all the side quests done for each character that you like, that person won't make it at the very end. So if you don't like a character, just don't do their side missions. Because I saw a couple people when my feed was flooded with Veilguard for like a long time, and so when I saw something about like you have to do the missions with all the side characters, da 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 da, otherwise they don't make it at the very end, confirmed. Like I didn't do a couple side characters missions and they failed their stuff, and or one of them perished, so like good chunks of them were gone. So I don't know what to make of it other than I would say it's like a 6 out of 10 for an RPG because of the fact that it's one of those games where if it didn't have the jankiness of the glitches and the problems and also the weird sometimes off-putting missions, it would have been a solid game. I would have dug it, but I just can't fathom people going, "Oh, I want to play this again." It's a game that I'm glad I got for free. It was a monthly game, and I would never have paid full price for it. And I would have been so bummed because I went from playing Dragon Age Origins because I was like trying to get through and I got stuck at the very end. I don't know what to do. So I kind of put that to the side. And I saw this one was free. I said I was gonna get it because I was never gonna pay for it, so I just like went, okay, whatever. So a game that I don't recommend full price as well, nor do I recommend for people that are not into like lovey-dovey romance things, because there's missions where you can get like romancing the character, or you can get like different things to like see people's families and stuff that doesn't make any sense. So if you don't like a lot of dialogue, this is not gonna be your game. This is a game where you have to be like into sim character kind of style, like Sims games. I didn't really care for it, but I don't know. Like, I just played it because I wanted some characters to make it at the end, and I wanted the final battle to be easier. So, yeah. After that, I played a beat 'em up game called Justice Ninja Casey. This is a 16-bit era game. I do know that I never saw it other than somebody recommended it. This was a recommended game. It's got the funny translation, so if you're really into like, oh, like what are they trying to say kind of thing, you're gonna really dig this. Um, the game is kind of like Japanese mythology mixed with like horror, mixed with like old style games back in the day that you would just like throw everything together and see what sticks, and that's kind of like what they did. You see like what I consider like a Mario effect of like the princess is in another castle. So you go and you try to like find the princess who's been kidnapped by like an evil guy who's trying to take over the kingdom and marry her or something like that. And so you have to like get a quest from the king who's going to tell you to go find the princess. And lo and behold, she's in another castle. And I really dug a couple of the bosses that were like horror element more than other bosses that were just like the normal standard beat 'em up are like it had RPG elements if you wanted to play it that way, but I played it more action. So I didn't do the RPG style because I can't remember what they called it. One was quest, I think, and the other one was just action, I think. But if you really want RPG elements, you could throw that in there. But I just went because I already played 2 RPGs back to back. I was like, I'm not in the mood for that. So I went more action, just classic beat 'em up style, and I dug it. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun game. I highly recommend it just for the pure weird dialogue of help, help me. HALP, not help me. Help me is what I will say now whenever I see a princess in distress. Then I played through another comfort game, and this one is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I did stream Tony Hawk Underground 2, and I liked the game, but it was just not like I was not vibing with it. I'm more into 1 through 3. Those are my staple games. So Tony Hawk 3 was more of a game that I just played just because I was like, you know what? I'm going to pop it in. I'm going to play through it. And I really had a fun time. I remember all the videos. It was fun getting like there's some weird characters like Officer Dick, and there's other couple characters like Wolverine. And the moment when you realize that they're gonna turn everything into like a mesh up of all the weird characters to bring in, I know that the remaster is gonna bring in Doom. I hope that it's going to be closer to the staple of Pro Skater and not like deviate a little too much, but let's see what they bring. And I hope that what I heard from the grapevine that they're going to get rid of some career modes. We'll see if they do classic mode or what they're going to do. But I'm still optimistic and I'm hopeful. So we will see what happens. And yeah, Tony Hawk is in the bag again for the 3rd time because I've played through 1 and I've played through 2 and 3 on the N64. But I consider the PS2 ones my staple to go with. Then I did another PlayStation Plus game, and it is UFC 5. These games are just like Madden games. They don't change it very much. They actually kind of like stay stagnant. And I feel like UFC 3 was better than UFC 4 and 5. You basically are a character who is working your way up through the ranks. You start off in an amateur scene. You have a coach who is hyping you up throughout the thing, and he just sees something miraculous in you, and you just realize, I must be a fighter. And so you make your character however you want to make it. You could be a kickboxer, boxer, MMA in general, whatever you want to do. And I went more kickboxer. That's always been my staple with any UFC game. And the career was okay. I will say that it kind of is getting stale, old a little bit, but it's an okay game. Like if you're into fighters, you're into UFC games, this is gonna be up your alley. And I just know like I'm gonna play a Madden game, I'm gonna get a football game. That's the same, like kind of like FIFA. You never get anything brand new. So good game, solid game. Just will not pay for it because I already played it with UFC 3 and 4. Then I played another beat 'em up game, and this is The Phantom. It is based off the comics slash shows that we have known and loved, which is just the comic character Phantom. He is a gentleman who is in a purple suit, and he's trying to get revenge for his father's death. But in this story, you are with Diana, and you're married, and you have a kid, and magically his kid is kidnapped, so you have to go and find the kid. And what I love about the game is like he's also in another castle. Like you have to keep like looking for your kid. So you'll fly to China, you'll fly to India, you'll fly to Australia, like, and in kind of like Carmen Sandiego, you'll see the plane go and just keep moving around the map. And then what I do like about the game is it finally tells you the final mission is on the way, and you're like, okay, I am going to be doing this. I'm gonna get this through. So I like the game. It was a classic game, but I wish that they had changed the variety a little bit more of the enemies. You keep seeing the same style enemies, same color palette, same everything for the whole game. I would have liked to see like the change in the color, like a classic beat 'em up where the color is a little bit different for the character to let you know that they're a little bit more difficult. You couldn't tell if that character was the first level character or the third level character, whatever they would be. So I dug that like aspect of it being a regular classic beat 'em up, but I would have liked that it was a little bit faster if they're gonna do that, or if you're gonna make it clunky, more tanky like it is, make something a little bit easier to find or understand, like a rhythm, because I would do a rhythm and then he would pause. So I don't know if it's a glitch, because I did have glitches at the very last level. There was a moment where the final boss battle, he had like patterns of like he'd do something on the ground, then he'd go up in the air. And after like the second or third time of him going up in the air, he just was gone. Like I couldn't find him anymore. And I don't know what happened. I thought, okay, like maybe I have to do something. So I was like trying to like maneuver around the like area, trying to figure like, okay, maybe he's here, maybe he's there, maybe he's hidden in the corner. No, he was just stuck in the side and he wouldn't come out of the area and do his next phase. So hopefully they fix that. I did see in the chat, like Mark looked it up, that more people are dealing with this than just me. It wasn't just like a one-off. It was like several people have tried different things. I just slowed down my pace. Like I had started learning a rhythm of the game finally at the very end of the last level. So maybe I was going too fast for the game. Maybe they were expecting me to not get through the little minions as much faster was what I expected. So I kind of slowed down my pace a little bit and let the minions stay a little bit longer and let him go to the start his next transitional part of the game and then move on. And then it finally worked. So I don't know. Solid game. I like it. I just don't understand why there's not somebody playtesting this and figuring out what's going on, because if multiple people are having this, you obviously didn't playtest the final area that much. Like maybe they just like, oh, okay, we're done. So good game. Get it cheap. Now on to the games that I'm currently playing. I did start Balatro, and that has taken up a lot of my time. It's a card-based game. You basically have poker and you have jokers that can make you boost your points, and it gets progressively difficult as you go along. It's a roguelike kind of game, and I dig it. It has become like any other like COD I used to play all the time because I would get sucked into it. So I'm trying to finish the game and trying to get like, I think there's like coins or like decks you have to collect and different things you have to collect. So either I platinum the game or I collect everything and then I'll consider it finished. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's why there's not a lot of other games that I'm currently playing. I didn't finish Street Fighter versus Tekken for that reason. I didn't even touch the other game, which is Halloween, that I've been trying to get through because that game just took over. So I'm going to try again to finish Halloween. I'm going to try to go through more of my backlog, and I really need to like put it down because I won't get through my backlog as much. I mean, I did finish 2 RPGs in the game, but of the month, but it's just one of those things where like if I don't put this game down and stop, it's going to become like all the other, you know, battle royale games where I just keep going and going and going. So I'm hoping to get through Halloween next month, and I'm hoping to get through a couple of retro style games. We'll see, because I'm trying to get through Street Fighter versus Tekken so I can move on to Marvel versus Capcom. I've been trying to get through that. You know, I picked that up like a while back, and so I'm trying to get like one fighter down so I can start another fighter collection. And then that one, I think you have to collect coins with that too. So we'll see what happens on that one. For the games that I've dropped 3 games this month, because I realized that with everything else going on that I'm going to have a lot to go through, and I kind of just went like, you know what? It's just not going to happen anymore. So I have dropped Wario 4. I like the game, but I think the puzzle element just kind of like threw me off, and so I've put it down. I've also dropped Jeremy McGrath, the Supercross 2000. I was playing the game and I dug it, but it's just one of those things again, like Madden, like I've played it and finished it and gotten through everything all over again. So I really don't need to do it because I've done it once before. So kind of like was like, oh, I streamed it, I had a fun time with it, but we'll move on. And also I have put down River Cedar Girls 2. I don't know. I really dug the first game, and then this one I'm just not meshing with it. I don't know, maybe it's either I'm playing too many beat 'em ups or just this style in general I haven't gotten the vibe for. And I think because I've forgotten the buttons. Like I played it a couple times here and there, just I just like try to boot it up, and then as soon as I try to boot it up, it just didn't work. Like I was like frustrated. I was trying to remember the buttons. What is this? What is that? And then I was like, you know what? I'm just not vibing with this game right now. So I'm going to put it down before I completely delete it 100% out of my system. Maybe I'll get back to it next year. We'll see. Maybe you'll see it in a couple months later down the line. But I feel like I'd rather just like put it down and drop it before I hate the next game, because I really do like River City Girls 1. So that's the 3 games that I have dropped. And there you go, everybody. I have finished 6 more games. They're in the bag. A couple have been taken off of the backlog. Where are you at with your journey of the year? Are you going to be finishing more games this month for April? Let me know in the comments below. And if you are digging the content, please consider subscribing if you're new. Give it a like before you roll out, and I'll catch you next time. Keep on gaming, everybody. Bye.
She's playing on all night, from vintage to modern, she's the queen of the fight. From in San Diego to Grand Theft Auto streets, Oregon Trail to Oregon Trail, she's got the beats. Stand back, she's got the games you need in hand with VHS recording, she's in command. From 8-bit wonders to the latest craze, Linda the gamer gal, she's here to amaze.